Hi again, folks. Okay, in this video, I want to go over the top 5 European, American, and Canadian forwards since 1970. Okay, so it has to be from 1970 till now, the top 5 European, American, and Canadian, in my opinion. Coming up. This is just for fun, but it's what I believe too. It is. And in the order I put it. So, some people might like it, some won't. And for you that don't like it, remember, if you hit thumbs down, just make sure you hit it twice. That helps me more than hitting it once. Okay. All right. Here we go, guys. I'm going to start with, we'll start with the Europeans. Okay. Let's go with the Europeans first. And I'm going to work number 5 up to number 1. Remember, these are forwards. Why did I do that? Because it's not enough to have 5 players and have like defensemen and goalies. It's just, let's do the forwards and then maybe we can do defense one day. I'm just saying, we can do the same thing again and I can break it down the same way with goaltending one day. Just saying. It gives extra space for videos too that we do want to see all these other names. All right, so number 5. Agree or not, I got number 5, I got Peter Forsberg. Now, Peter Forsberg, I will put up his average, points per game average on the screen in a second. He had, in 708 games played, 249 goals, 636 assists for 885 points, for a 1.25 points per game average in his career. And he was just a great player. He was a clutch player. I think him one for one for Lindros would have been a fair deal, really. This guy was amazing. My God, this guy, for a man that was, he wasn't a giant, but he sure could take the body too. You know, my God, this was a good hockey player. There's a player I miss that's gone, that never played for the Sabres. Number 4, I put Peter Stastny. Peter Stastny had 977 games played, 450 goals, 789 assists for 1,239 points, which is a 1.27 points per game average. And folks, it's not in the order of points per game average. I'm just putting that there for the record so you guys can see it, you know. I got him as my number 4 European forward of all time. He was a Habs killer. He was a Sabres killer. he was an everything killer in the Adams division in the 80s. I think any Sabres fan will tell you. Great hockey player. All right, number 3, I got Timo Selanne. Oh, and for the record, Forsberg 14 years, Stastny 15 years. I'm not really going to mention the years, tell you the truth. The games are more important because some of the years were 8 games, 21 games. There's no point, so forget the years, actually. All right, so Timo Selanne, 1,451 games. 684 goals, 773 assists for 1,457 points in those 1,451 games, which comes to a point a game average, slightly over. It's in the hundreds, but it's a point per game average here in 3 digits. It's 1.004, I believe. So I'm 4,000ths of a point missing. I'm not going to put it. So it's 1 point per game average in his career. He was a terrific goal scorer. I'm still pissed at him in 93 for tying McGillney's 76 goals, because I thought McGillney should have got that, but how fair is it for another guy to get 76 isn't leading the league, right? So it's kind of fair they both got it. Timo Selanne was a fun player. I was happy to see him win a Stanley Cup also. It's too bad it was kind of at our expense in 2007, but it is what it is. Moving on, number 2. I got Alexander Ovechkin as number 2 all time. And if you would have told me that a few years ago, I probably would have said no, you know, but now, yep. 1,197 games, 730 goals, 590 assists, 1,320 points for 1.10 points per game average in his career. He is the modern day version of what exemplifies a perfect power forward. He, in my opinion, is the greatest power forward in history. Even going back in the original 6, he is. Because This guy really scores a lot more than those guys did. Like this guy, I've never seen a power forward score as much. I mean, he's out there laying the body too, don't get me wrong and all this. But Ovechkin, and he gets a lot of shots away. Don't forget, Ovechkin. That's why his shot percentage isn't very good. But he still controls the game. The puck finds him, you know what I mean? And that's from him taking the body, and just a great hockey player, no doubt. In our generation, I'll never say he's the greatest goal scorer ever, because he's not. But he is the greatest power forward I think I'll ever see in my lifetime. And number 1, I got Jaromir Jagr. 1,733 games, 766 goals, 1,155 assists, 1,921 points for a 1.11 point per game average in his career. And no doubt this guy is just a phenomenal, he's a freak of nature. You've seen how late he played. Probably could play at least 50 like he was thinking. But I got him as the number 1 European of all time, in my opinion. You know, I guess that would vary with some of you, but for me, I've got to go with Jagr. I do. Okay. Next, I'll go with the top 5 American. This might be a little tricky, but there's somebody I wanted on there. I couldn't put it because there's 5. All right, number 5, I got Keith Tkachuk. 1,201 games. 538 goals, 527 assists for 1,065 points, and a .89 point per game average. But he was a hard-nosed player. This guy was, he was actually very, I found he was very just mentally strong. I'd see this guy in interviews and I'd be like, wow, this guy really just had a very strong will, I think. When he's on the ice, he demonstrated that. He wasn't scared to lay the body. This guy was just a good all-around player. But, God, there's other guys I wanted to put here, but I had to put Tkachuk. I had to. I mean, the 538 goals. I had to. I could go on and on about why I wish he could have been a Sabre. All right, number 4. Number 4, I got Joe Mullen. Joe Mullen played 1,062 games, 502 goals, 561 assists for 1,063 points. And he was the guy that basically broke the barrier for U.S. players with the 500 goals. And he was just a very solid player throughout all his career, no matter how bad the teams were that he was on. You know, and he was, the numbers, it's funny, 1,062 games, 1,063 points. Now, if I was a player, I would be pissed off I got that 1 extra point. That's kind of how that would bug me, but it's just kind of funny, you know? So, yes, he had a point per game average in his career. And for some of you younger kids that never got to see him play, he wasn't the biggest guy, but he sure as hell played with a lot of heart, this guy. And he just seemed to love the game. I still remember when I was young and watching him. I didn't know much about him, but I did remember that he was just so clutch, and he would always score against Montreal, which I like. I remember him scoring against Montreal some goals. Now, I don't know how he did in his 500 against Montreal, but man, he would score against the Habs, I remember. I do remember that. I liked anybody that scored against the Habs back then. All right, number 3, I got Mike Modano. 1,499 games, thanks to Mike Babcock. Goals, 561 goals, 813 assists, 1,374 points. For a great career, Mike Modano, .92 point per game average. Many will say he's the greatest American hockey player ever. I just don't think he is, but you can make a good argument for it. You sure can. He's sure way up there in points, eh? But he's sure up there in games played. You know what? I wish the Stars would do something and give this guy a shift. Don't you feel that way? I'd love this guy to get out there and even play like a period or something. And he's such a good athlete. He could, I'm sure, and get that 1,500 game on his resume, you know? Come on. Like, what are you doing, Dallas? Phone this guy and talk to him and say, listen, you know? And this would be a big thing for Dallas fans to celebrate. before the game. You know what I mean? Like the Mario comeback, but not the same. But you know what I mean? It would be exciting. They'd be holding 1,500 signs in the crowd. It just would be nice. I really wish Dallas would do something about that $14.99 and get this man in for one period, even 3 or 4 shifts, whatever, you know? It'd be nice, too, if he got a point that night. Just saying. I wish Dallas would wake up. God, wake up, Dallas. God, get this man in one shift even. Get that 1,500 up there. All right, number 2, I got Patrick Kane. And that's 1,029 games, 404 goals, 684 assists for 1,088 points. And he's 1.06 points per game. And Patrick Kane might go down in history as the most successful American hockey player ever. But I to this point, will not say he's the best. Not yet. No, not yet. And I know he's had, in the later years of his career, some awesome seasons. Really, this guy's had some awesome seasons. And but I got to put him number 2. 1.06 points per game. And he is future Hall of Famer. We know that. Number 1. Who else, folks? I got Pat LaFontaine. LaFontaine, 865 games, 468 goals, 545 assists for 1,013 points, 1.17 points per game average, and a career that sadly had too much injury in it. But LaFontaine, I think, healthy, would have had a 1,500 point career. Really. More. But, you know, like, you can't cheat health. You know, you just can't in a sport like this. But LaFontaine, for me, is still number 1 in the USA till I see otherwise. And I do believe Patrick Kane can be that guy eventually to overtake him. But I'd have a hard time still saying it because I don't believe Patrick Kane will ever have his points per game average. He'll never have his big season. And I don't know. You know, you tell me what you think, guys. I'm sure that's a tough one for some of you. And that's it for my 5 top USA players. But I'll tell you what drove me nuts, folks. Okay? It drives me nuts not putting Jeremy Roenick on here. And I know some of you don't like him. I like Roenick. And I like Guerin. There's other guys I wanted, but, you know, their numbers, you know, the numbers just keep them down just a little. You know, I like Roenick. I like Guerin. You know, if I could have put top 8 or 9, I would have felt better. I hate not having those 2 names on the list. All right, top 5 Canadian. Number 5, I got Marcel Dionne. Now remember, this is since 1970, so if you guys are going to get hurt feelings about it, I don't got Rocket Richard or Gordie Howe, please, I don't know, go to an Original 6 channel. This is since 1970 till now, okay? I got Marcel Dionne, number 5. 1,348 games, 731 goals, 1,040 assists for 1,771 points, a 1.31 points per game average in his career. A very underrated career when you think of just how phenomenal his numbers were. You know, he also, I believe, had 6 50-goal seasons. But the thing with Dionne was, you know, he played in teams like Detroit when Detroit was crap. He played on LA when LA was crap. I mean, he played on bad teams. He even played on the Rangers when they were just doing the Ranger thing that the Rangers usually do, you know? Yeah, he just had such a great career. And I had to put number 4 ahead of him. Number 4, I got Guy Lafleur. Guy Lafleur's numbers and his were very similar, but Lafleur always beat this guy out when it comes to the scoring title. I was so happy for Dionne in 1980 to win the scoring title over this young kid named Wayne Gretzky, because I remember Gretzky, the last game of the year, overtook him for the first time all year, and Dionne was now stuck having to get 2 points to win the scoring title, and he did. I was very happy for him. And I was cheering on this kid named Gretzky, but I had to cheer on. I heard the announcer say, you know, I hope Dionne gets this tonight because this kid Gretzky is going to take the title for a long time. And I thought about it. I said, that's true, you know. And Dionne always finished second behind Guy Lafleur. So I always, I cheered him on, and he got it that night, Dionne. So I was happy he got that one scoring title. So Guy Lafleur, 1,126 games, 560 goals, 793 assists for 1,353 points. The reason I give him the nod, he's 1.20 points per game. Dionne's 1.31. Now, the reason I give Lafleur the nod, okay, is not because of all the Habs' success in the playoffs. No. The 6 consecutive 50-goal seasons. I had to give him the nod because of that. I did. And all the scoring titles that Lafleur won in his prime. It wasn't until Gretzky came in the league that Guy Lafleur was not the best player in the world anymore. You know, it took a guy named Wayne Gretzky to overtake this guy. Remember that, you know. All right, number 3, Mike Bossy. 752 games, 573 goals, and 750. That's 57 goals every 75 games, folks. 752 games, 573 goals, 553 assists for 1,126 points for a 1.50 points per game average. 1.5 points a game he averaged in his 9.5-year career. You know, well, a little more, I guess, than that, but anyway. And that was it. As quick as Bossy came in, he just left. And that was it. One injury and he was done. Sad. But I had to give Bossy the nod over Guy Lafleur because Bossy, without a doubt, is the greatest goal scorer I think I'll ever see in my lifetime. Well, I'll never see another guy score like this guy. Never. If I ever see another guy come close to this, and sorry, Ovechkin fans, he's not even close. He's not. You know, he's not. He's a great goal scorer, Ovechkin, but he's the Bossy scored every way, backhand, forehand. Everything, every way he could. You know, snapshot, slap shot, wrist shot, everything went in with this guy. So I have to give him the nod. And 1.5 points per game average, folks. You know, people don't know that about Bossy, but 1.5 is pretty awesome. Now we get into a few guys you might know. All right, number 2, Mario Lemieux. 915 games, 690 goals. 1,033 assists for 1,723 points for a staggering 1.88 points per game average in his career. And of course we know with the cancer and everything, you know, like we can go on and on about Mario. And it's funny, because now he's the owner of a team he really didn't want to play for when he was a kid. It's weird, how things in life work if you just do the right thing. Hint, hint at a guy named Eric Lindros. If he would have went to Quebec, I wonder what would have happened in his career. I do. So Super Mario is number 2. And number 1, to no surprise, number 99, Wayne Gretzky. 1,487 games. 1,487 games. 894 points for 18. Good God. Hold on. Let me get this again, guys, because I got sweat in my eye. 1,487 games played. 894 goals, 1,963 assists for 2,857 points. Now, it's just my opinion, guys. I don't think Jack Eichel's going to break that record of points, even if we trade him. 1.92 points per game average in his career. And for the record, I remember I talked about this one time. Gretzky scored 500 goals, his first 500 goals, folks, in his first 575 games. Isn't that nuts? That's just nuts. What do you say about that? You know? All right. And the shout out, I don't know if I mentioned on this, goes to Christopher Howard. Christopher, if I didn't say it, sorry, buddy. I'm not sure if I said it or not. But that's it. All right, folks. And we'll thank Christopher for that idea. And Christopher, for the record, I had to do just the forwards because, again, like I said, you know, goalies and defensemen. Let's do separate videos on those eventually. You know, not right now. We got a lot of things we're going to be checking out right now on video very soon with these trades coming up, guys. I'm telling you, this is coming soon. Okay, that's it for now. I want to jump on this. I want to start getting these things edited and out there for you. And I might order Chinese food for dinner. I don't know. So, all right, folks, I'll see you soon.